Welcome back to the first Friday of 2019, and we're going to kick things off with Aloha Friday, where greatness is made casual. I'm your host, Shane Austin. I'm here with my co-host, Dave Austin. And today, in honor of the first Friday of the year, we're going to talk about resolutions. Are you one of those people that by February you failed already on all of your resolutions? We're going to give a lot of actionable tips and tricks and suggestions and methods to make sure that this is the most powerful year yet, and you can continue to climb upward and onward. So grab a seat, grab a Mai Tai, enjoy Aloha Friday, and we'll send you off into the weekend strong. And we have a couple announcements on that as well. But otherwise, I will send it over to my co-host, Dave. How are you doing today? And what are you grateful for now that we're in 2019?
Yeah, I'm grateful for so many good things. Been working on some projects, as you know, and today was a very significant day. And the more I'm grateful, the more things just manifest and happen. You know, I got booked to do, been working on it for 3 years. Now I got booked to do some amazing speaking engagements with the USO to our military. The beast training that we teach is going to be their main thing. It's an honor to be picked and to be able to do that. Got a speaking engagement for both of us in front of 15,000 athletes in Santa Clara in March. And so I'm excited about that. I mean, that's just a gift. And then we have the World Championships coming up in our own backyard here that we're going to have a chance to do some cool things at. So I'm just grateful to be doing what we're doing and making a difference in people's lives. So there you have it.
You got a lot on your calendar already, and likewise I have a lot on my calendar, and I'm looking forward to Santa Clara as well, and all the things that we got going on. I mean 2019 is exciting. I mean, we got a lot of things going on, but I feel like everybody says that, right? It's like, well, oh, thank God 2018 is done, because now 2019 is going to do so much better. And then by the end of the year, it's like, oh, you look back, oh crap, I didn't do anything that I wanted to do. And then you're like, well, no, 2020 is going to be the year, right? Instead of talking about it, let's actually be about it. Let's do it. Let's give you some real live tools that are going to work. But first of all, a couple little announcements. We're going to be shifting. Aloha Friday is going to be a little bit more, what would you call it? More action-packed, intense. However, it's not going to be weekly necessarily. It's going to be the first Friday of every month. So that way it's easier to put it on the calendar. We're going to have a little bit more engaging episodes to look forward to. I'm going to try to get this thing going on Dave Austin's timeline here.
Is it working?
Shifting here. I think it worked. I'm not sure. It's kind of a new experience, but hey, we're always learning, especially 2019. We're going to learn a lot. So as always, let's start things off with the hashtag quick, which is, as you all know, hopefully by now, it's the quote of the week. The quote of the week this year.
This year. It's brand new. First time this year.
It's queer. Quote of the year. I'm kidding. It's by Dr. Seuss. And this actually kind of goes with my theme for this year of being more bold. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Wise words by a
Dr. Seuss. Brilliant man.
Right. I love it. So now I want to really shift right into the topic of the day and the discussion, because there's a lot we're actually going to cover. So I want to just dive right into it. If you're ready, if you're got your seatbelt on, you're ready to rock and roll. This might even be an episode, dare I say, you might even want to take notes, because we're going to give you a lot. We're just going to throw it all at you. And I don't want you to think that you got to take all of these tactics, all of this advice, and do it all. I mean, you can, of course, but if one thing speaks to you, go and do that. I mean, it's little changes that are going to make the difference in 2019. And if just one of these tips help you, well, then, that's what we do this for. So we're going to give you a lot. Take what you want from it. And let's get right into it. I'm going to start with Dave with kind of our 3, 2, 1 and how that can apply to 2018, 2019.
Awesome. So, one thing, I see a lot on Facebook. I see a lot of people saying, hey, resolutions. We talk about all this thing, and, why listen to us? That's a good question. The only reason I want to say anything is that we've been doing this, and I know you've been doing it for a long time, even though you're younger than I am, but since about 9, you've been setting these goals, and you're a goal achiever like I've never seen, but you have a system involved. So this is a proven system that, I've done with championship athletes, businesses, and the military. So that's why I would say, listen, there's a lot of experience, a lot of truth in what we're about to tell you. This is not like something we just dreamed up and we hope it works. It works if you follow it, and it can be even simple. But, one of the things that, and I hope, I think you'll agree with me, Shane, the thing that makes something successful, it is simple, but it's challenging to get to simplicity. If I watch you as a quarterback, you make throwing a football easy. If you watch me hitting a tennis stroke,
it looks very difficult.
Yeah, like shut up. Now, it's just that I get rid of the wasted movement, yeah. Right? And so when you look at true athlete, you see how simple it is. And that's what this can be. So don't take it as, oh, well, that's easy. And it can be easy, but that which is easy to do is easy not to do. It's a matter of doing it. So let's talk
efficiency,
about
baby.
The 3-2-1 first of all. And that's where you look at, say, take your 3 biggest wins of the year. Take a reflection upon
2018, right?
Yeah, 2018. Your 3 things that you can look back and go, wow, that was awesome. Might have been even a total game changer for you. We need to celebrate that when you're going forward, because that's a strength and it's a momentum builder. So reflect upon that. Then why is it called 3-2-1 is then take 2 things that maybe you're challenged, maybe you like to do better. But when you look at that, instead of going, oh, dang it, I just blew it. Look at it from a viewpoint of, wow, that's also a win because I can become better because of it. Awareness is we talk about all the time, how powerful awareness is. So
challenges can be wins. I like that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So take on your 2 biggest challenges. So you got your 3 big wins along with your 2 biggest challenges. And then the 1 is, what are the action steps you're going to take, and utilize the gifts that were in both the wins and the challenges. See, I think people get bogged down with what they didn't get done rather than looking at it going, wait, that was a challenge, but how did I gain and how does it blend with my wins? So the action I take now, I'm in a better place to be stronger in taking this action. And that's your 3-2-1.
I love it. Well, my wife and I just did this actually the other night, and we came up with our 3 biggest wins of 2018, and it's really good to go back and reflect, and you get to see like the biggest ones, because as you're looking for the biggest ones, you're sifting through all these little wins throughout the way, and you're like, wow, okay, there actually was a lot of wins in 2018. That's not technically a throwaway year. There was some good that came from it. And then the 2 areas to improve in 2019 is going to be pivotal, but I'm really excited for my one main focus for the year. Maybe it's your word of the year, however you want to do it. Last year I had a word, and I felt like it was, and I'll just be honest, we talked about SAPA a lot on here, and that awareness, right? We're talking about awareness. SAPA was pretty much my word of the year, 2018, self-awareness, positive attitude. I will say with that theme, that main focus, I feel like I learned the most about myself in 2018 than any other year. Like I've developed the most internally than I think I ever have. And I've always been growing, but 2018 was a big one. I had a lot of aha moments, a lot of light bulbs turn on, and excited to apply all of that in 2019. And this year, my one, I'll just share it, is be bold. This year, I want to step up and be bold. And I think that that's been something that I have done a lot in my past. However, you can always get better in any area. So I'm excited about this main focus for the year. I'm going to be bold, and we'll see what happens, right? Fortune favors the bold. So if you want to get a little bit even more specific, 3-2-1 is pretty simple. And it's a big overview of the year. If you want to get more fine-tuned, there's also a past year reflection or a past year review where you go back, literally take out pad of paper, notepad, and you write 2 columns. One is positive and one is negative. You go back through your calendar, go through your Google Calendar or your iCalendar, whatever it might be, and you can even go week by week, find out what created or produced the peak positive moments of that month and the peak negative moments in that month. And that can be in regards to people, activities, commitments, any of those type of things, especially people. Think of the people that energized you that month, or the people that drained you, setting up those meetings with them that are just like, oh my gosh, it's just a drag. Now, some things are out of our control, right? If we're working for a boss or something like that. And sometimes you just got to suck it up. But if there's things within your control, look at what created the positives or the peaks, positive or negative. And then once you have your full list and you realize what's really creating like the 20% of these peaks, like what's creating the peaks of both the highs and the lows, then you set your course for 2019. That's when you put in the calendar those positive people. Schedule more meetings with those people that bring in those positive peaks for you. Schedule more, if it's trips, if it's travel. I know for me, if I don't put it on the calendar, that's an easy one I'll just push off. But I'll say 2018 was a big travel year for me, and a big year for me developing. And I think a lot of that was because of the perspective I gained while being abroad in different countries and different societies, different ways of life. I got just a bigger picture of the world. And those kind of moments are priceless, regardless of what work I might be having to dish off for a week or two because I'm going and experiencing this. Life is about experiences. And I got to say, if you're going to plan travel, plan it up front, put it on the calendar first, and then plan everything else around them. So that way that doesn't get pushed to the back burner. Also with activities and commitments, do all that as well in your calendar. But then this is the one I'm excited about is the negative side. Now you create a not to do list. And this is the people that drain you. These are the activities or commitments that you do out of FOMO or you feel out of obligation that you just have to do. But if it's taking you away from your true gifts and your strengths, why the heck are we putting it on our calendar if we don't have to? So that's a big area right there is creating the not to do list, getting clear on really what not to do and allowing more of those great scenarios happen. Now, I've been a big one of always looking forward and what am I going to do in this year? In this activity, reflecting back on what the peaks have done in the past, it allows for more things to happen out of the blue, great things to happen that maybe you didn't even plan for in 2019. But because you're putting yourself consistently in the right position to receive those great experiences and peak positive moments, well, you're setting the course on a very solid foundation. So with that said, it can seem a little daunting when you look at the whole year. So how do we break this down into bite-sized pieces? I'm going to turn it back over to Dave for this tactic.
Well, in our Beast program, we teach, and I'll just quickly say the giraffe is our animal. We always use it, and I won't get into all that. I want to just, what we call the giraffe is stretlet. What does that mean, stretlet? It means stretch a little each day. What happens, let's say you want to, everyone goes to the gym in January. I got to get in shape. I've been eating so bad. And they overdo it, and then I'm done. I'm too sore. I can't go on. We do the same thing with our goals sometimes. We just come out, after you come out of the holidays, it's like, man, you're ready to charge, but you take on too much and you get bogged down in February. It's like, all right, back to your old routines. If you stretch a little, just a little each day, that's a formula for success. And, there's fear when you're stretching, but if you take it on a little, you can embrace the fear, and the fear then becomes a strength.
Oh man, I love it. And stretlet is one of my favorite beast principles that we have, because I'm always looking for somewhere to grow. As an athlete, you're either getting better or you're getting worse on the practice field. So I always look, how can I get 1% better today? And it applies to our lives. It applies to everything. So I love the example of going to the gym, because think of it too. If a lot of times we do overload ourselves in January. And if you were to do that in the weight room, you're going to hurt yourself. If you're only benching 100 pounds and then you go to 300 pounds, you're like, yep, this is it. 2019, 300 pounds, you're going to tear a pec muscle or something like that. So it's just not sustainable. So let's do something that's actually sustainable. And that's baby steps. It's baby steps. Eventually, it's like a snowball. It eventually does create very large leaps. And one of the things that that I came up with a couple a year or two ago. Maybe it was 2 years. Gosh, time is really flying when you're taking all these baby steps. And I will coin the phrase here. So you heard it first here. So if you hear it anywhere else, came here first, is earn your beer challenge. Now, I use beer as an example because it's something I enjoy to drink beer. I like to enjoy a beverage with a few friends here and there, but I also don't want to go in excess where I'm drinking too much. And then I have a guts and a beer belly and then I have all these health issues. But, I don't want to cut it out completely. I want to enjoy it. So when I explain this challenge, take beer and substitute it for whatever your guilty pleasure may be. Maybe it's sweets. Maybe it's a cheat meal, whatever that may be to you. Maybe it's even just going to a movie. It can be earn your movie challenge, whatever that is. It's a reward, but you have to earn that reward. And to earn your beer, for me, I created a point system. So basically, as I work out, whenever I have a workout, if it's 20 minutes or more of a workout, every 20 minutes is a point. So if I have an hour and a half workout or an hour and 20 minutes, that's 4 points right there that I just collected. Every time I have a healthy meal, and you got to be your own judge on that, you get a point. And I had different little things. Maybe if you want to incorporate sleep, just certain duration of sleep. If you want to include your Fitbit, maybe the number of steps you have, create a point system to where then the beer is maybe 8 points. I think that's what I had it as. And maybe a glass of wine is like 6 points and a shot is 2 points because they're smaller. I mean, you create your customized point system that fits your schedule and your needs. But basically, once you've collected a lot of these healthy points, then you're able to have a beer on the weekend or throughout the week. You can apply those points and basically buy a beer with your points. If I've got, 32 points, I can have a few beers and I don't have to feel guilty because I know that I earned it. And now those points go away. So I got to re-earn those points again. I got to keep going. So I came up with this. I did it for, a whole year, I think a couple of years ago. And I got to say, I was in the best shape. I mean, obviously I was training a lot as well for football, but I loved it. I was really able to not have to cut it out, enjoy the beer. And again, it doesn't have to be beer. It can be anything. It can be a sweet. But if you have a reward, create a way to earn it. And a point system is a great way to do it.
So now, did you have a grocery store you go to that you give the points to and they give you the beer?
So actually, the way that I had it is I have a whiteboard like this. It's actually right here. I had a calendar and it was right in my front door. So when I come back from the gym, I just put a little tally on that day, like 4 tallies right there. And if I get a meal, I slash it and I add more tallies throughout the day. So then by the end of the week or whenever I want to go turn in my points, I tally them up from where I'm at. I'm like, okay, I'm at 31 points right now. And then I subtract, 8 points from that 31. So that was, I tracked it on a whiteboard.
Oh, so that's why so many people resolutions and goals don't work, because they don't have a disciplined approach. And you do those little things that make the big things happen. I got it.
That's how you achieve anything, right? So
that's it, baby.
Into goals, maybe, now the true resolutions is kind of like goals. What is an execution strategy that you can give us that like I did with the board, put it up visually, make it real? What's an execution strategy?
Well, again, with our Beast program, we have the meerkat. I won't go into all about that. They're amazing animals. But we call the meerkat Deputus, which is a goal-seeking mechanism or strategy to achieve your goals. Why do we call the meerkat Deputus? Let's just go right into what Deputus means. First of all, you got to describe your goal. If you don't describe your goal and very clear in your goal, how are you going to achieve your goal? You wanted to be in great physical shape, so you could play the game you play at the highest level. You get paid to play football. So you describe, you're very clear what it is, whatever that goal is. From there, the next step is in Deputus is what's your purpose? If you don't have a strong why, this is where a lot of goals aren't met, because if the purpose is not strong enough, you fall back to your conditional habits because your subconscious mind is comfortable there. It gets a little uncomfortable. That's why you have to use Stretlet to get through this. But the strength of getting through is your why. So what is your purpose? Describe your purpose or why this goal is important to you. From then, what's your timeline? If you don't have a timeline, the goal kind of like gets muddied. Have a very clear timeline.
Easy to procrastinate.
Yeah, so easy. And then you get to the S in Deputus is, all right, so what's my strategy? You described a beautiful strategy. You came up with a point system. This is my strategy to achieve my goal. I described my goal. My purpose is so that I can play the game, for you, that I get paid to play better because of the shape I'm in.
And then I can still look good in a bathing suit.
Yeah, there you go. That was the real reason. You just wanted
my birthday suit.
You just wanted to be hot for your wife. Okay, we got it.
Hey, so, I gotta stay, in shape.
Yeah, you know what? I got it.
I don't want her to leave me.
I better not say this to my son because you don't think we have the same kind of goals, but I used to work out on the tennis court and I knew it was going to help me play better tennis. But I also had this sometimes when I was tired, the same reason, I'll look good for Kathy, your mom. So anyway, I won't go any further.
That could be your why. It's a strong why.
It was a very strong why. It got me through some hard workouts. So it's a really proven system. You described it, and then you had a timeline because you're going to go to season, right? You know that you've got to be ready when you go. You can't just get there and go, okay, we're now into the 2 weeks before the season that we're going to kick butt. No, you got to be ready for it. And you had a really powerful strategy that kept you disciplined to achieve it. That is the key reason why people don't achieve their goals. You just described it, and Deputus is the tool to use.
Yeah, I love Deputus for a lot of reasons because I'm a organization freak, right? The way Deputus organizes it too, it makes it much more achievable because again, putting it out in front of you too is so key. Seeing it, being able to, if you just write your resolutions, throw it in a drawer, check it out on December 31st. Oh, I forgot I put that. I don't even, it's not in your head. It's not really a focus. It's more of a wish. This is a goal is actually putting that timeline, that strategy to it, putting it into an organized system. So I love that. I'll close in one last tip. And it's another organizational thing. Some people might be familiar with it. There's a great book out there by, I believe his name is Gary Allen. And it's the GDT method, which stands for getting things done. But I kind of like GST for getting what done. And and I'm not going to go through it in total depth because there's an entire book on it and there's an entire community and really a cult following on it. But the 5 main kind of bullet points of what it encompasses is really powerful. And I've been using it for a while now, and I love it. It keeps me organized. It keeps me on my tasks. I don't forget it because the main thing with us is our minds are incredible at creativity. It's incredible at creating ideas, all those things, but it's really poor at recollection. We think we're going to remember all of these things we got to do and juggle them all. And then, oh crap, I forgot this. And I forgot this. Have you ever felt that? It's like, oh man, I totally forgot to do that. That's Dave. That's never happened to you, so I can't.
No, never. I'm perfect. Right? You got to remember that. I never have.
You have a perfect memory. I know that. Yeah. But us normal people over here, we don't have a perfect memory, even if we think we do. And this system really gets everything out of your head and dumps it onto paper, or I kind of digitize it. So I do it in a digital way. But the thing is, even when you don't think you're thinking about it, when you're thinking, I got all these things to do, but I've always still wanted to clean out my yard. I want to clean out the garage. And there's all these little things that have just weigh on your subconscious. They're really taking you away from being present in what you're actually doing. So the biggest thing is dumping everything out somewhere. You got to have a capture system. So that's step 1, is capture everything. Ideas, notes, emails, things you want as reference for later, things you're waiting on, things you're delegating to other people, to-do list, any of that, have a capture system or an inbox. If it's email, you obviously have an inbox, but even go to the extent of, if you're a paper person, have a physical inbox. It's a basket. Anytime you have an idea, write it on a piece of paper, throw it in the inbox. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. Now you've offloaded it from your head. You've put it somewhere. You're going to go back later in a few more steps, but you just take everything, any to-dos, calendars, whatever, reminders, write it down, throw it in that inbox. For me, I do it digitally. I use Evernote. I have an inbox digitally that I throw everything in. That's where it starts at. Then step 2 is clarify. When you go back, and this can be as you're processing email, is think of 3 things. Can I do it right now? Can I delegate it? Or can I defer it to later? So think of the 3 Ds there, right? So if it's going to take me less than 2 minutes, then just do it right now, because it's much easier to just do it now than have to try to come back to it later and then do it. If it's 2 minutes or less, do it now. If it's something that you can't do because you're waiting on somebody else, delegate it. Put it into a delegate folder. Clarify what you want out of this task. And then there's the defer to later. If it's something that you need to do, but you just can't do it right now, add it somewhere where you can go back and then reflect on it and review when it needs to. If you got to put a timeline to it, deputies, put a date to it and then store it somewhere. So then that's where it comes into the organized aspect of it, right? Then you can put it into, then you have different bins. You have different categories whether it's delegating, whether it's waiting on, whether it's just reference material that you may or may not need, but you just want it organized somewhere. Have it organized, whether it's physically organized and you have folders for all of that, or bins for all that, or if it's digitally organized. Again, same message, same method. I use it with my email. I have different categories you can do in Google Gmail where you can put everything, get your inbox to 0. I'll tell you, I just finally got my inbox to 0, and it is like a weight has been lifted. It's amazing having an inbox at 0. Now, every time I get a few emails, I just put them into their.
I must be better than you, because mine has many zeros, but they just have some numbers in front of them.
You have a million emails, and half of them are unread. So if you're emailing Dave and haven't got a response in 5 years, well, he's not using the GDT method quite yet. I think eventually, I don't know. That's more of my skill set. I'll GDT for you. So the 4th step, so you got capture, clarify, and organize. Then the 4th step is reflect. And this is something that you might have as a weekly practice, or it's at the end of the day, where now you go through your inbox. You got all this stacked of stuff. It's all over the place. Now you go through it, or you go through your different things. If it's an action item, or if it's a waiting on item, or if it's someday maybe item, go through it on a regular basis, because again, out of sight, out of mind, if you just put it somewhere and you never get to it, and it's something you need to get to, well, then you're not really reflecting on it. You're not really reviewing it. So go back, have a practice where you go through, and if things need to be updated on dates, make those updates then and there. If they need to change to a different bin, change them then. And the last thing is 5 is engage, act, take action, create a system to where you're actually taking action. I have an errands bin. So I know when I'm leaving the house and I go in the car, let me check my errands real quick. Okay, I can knock these out while I'm doing something else. So you can kind of not multitask, but you can group things together so you're more efficient. Again, eliminating wasted movement. You can have a 10-minute bin, or okay, I got 10 minutes before 2 meetings. I can do this on my phone real quick. Boom, 10 minutes is done. You've now used your time effectively while you're waiting for your meeting to start, than scrolling through social media. And unless you're watching Aloha Friday, then you can scroll through social media. But other than that, it's not, is it doing you anything productive? I don't know. That's up to you.
So what I got from all that stuff is that be sure to put in Aloha Fridays, watch on Fridays. Got it. Once a month now.
Perfect. Seriously, and honestly, even though you say that kind of jokingly, if that was a thought, like, you know what, I really do like what these guys are saying, I would like to regularly watch them every first Friday of the month. Well, then write that down, put it in your inbox, and then you can put it in an area where you'll remember it. It's amazing. I mean, it's the simplest of things. It's very simple, but it does help you get things done. So I'm going to get off my soapbox, because I love organization. If I start talking about that, I'll be up here all day. But I hope you guys got some nuggets today. I hope you guys got some actionable things that you really are going to put it to use now. It's one thing to say, oh, that's really cool stuff, but when you actually do it, it's a whole nother animal. So my challenge is to take at least one. If you want to take all of them, great. Love it. Go. But again, stret lit, no stret lot. But I'd say put something to action and see 2019 transform. It might not happen right away. Trust the system. The baby steps eventually grow into giant leaps. Do you have any last words before we close this thing out?
No, I think you hit it right on the button. I just, the other thing I suggest is, now that this is on Facebook, you go back and review this, take notes, as you said, and go through it several times. The more things you hear, there were some really major golden nuggets. There's so many of them that, it can almost be overwhelming. Well, just do a little, get a little from it, then go back and get a little more, and then go back and get a little more. There you have it.
And then shoot, at the end of this year, go back to this video for 2020.
There you go, baby.
So now that we will be, our next Aloha Friday will be the first Friday of February. If you're feeling, oh my gosh, that's so long away, I got to get more from you guys. Dave still has his Facebook Lives every Monday to get you game ready for the week. So if you want to tune in for his game ready, check him out. Make sure you're following Dave Austin's page. That way you can get it. You can turn on the notifications as well. And turn on the notifications for Aloha Friday so you don't forget. Oh, first Friday of the month. Here we go. Rock and roll. Aloha Friday. Greatness made casual. Shane Austin, Dave Austin here, living Aloha and living out our own greatness. So good luck to everybody in 2019. We're wishing you all the best, sending you our positive energy and Aloha vibes. And with that, we'll say mahalo for tuning in.
Amen, brother. Aloha.
Aloha.